So it's Halloween, and I have a little Halloween story for you guys. So, and trust me, it's tangentially related to my Porsche Cayman. So exactly 4 years ago, I had a little incident where on Halloween night, this very night, I was going to a friend's house, and I got out of my car and I completely slammed my right index finger in the door of this car. I'll demonstrate it in the B-roll so you can see exactly how it happened. It was a little bit weird because I was trying not to smudge my car at the time. I was really worried about that for some reason, and I didn't want to touch the glass. So I was doing this weird way of closing the door where I kind of hooked my finger in it and then closed it and then pulled my hand away. That particular night, I did not pull my hand away fast enough. Now, it hurt like hell. Like the door fully closed on my finger. It was stuck in there. And I opened the door, and there was blood just gushing out of it. And if I even touched it, it felt like someone was just ramming a needle down the bone of my finger. So I was like, okay, this isn't good. I washed it off a little bit at my friend's house, and then I told my girlfriend who was with me, I think I need to go to the ER. We drive over to the hospital. Luckily, we were pretty close. I go to the ER, show them my finger. They're like, okay, yep, it might be broken. So we're going to do 2 quick x-rays and then have the doctor come and look at it. So I sat in the waiting room for maybe 15 minutes, got my x-ray. I waited maybe another 45 minutes to an hour before the doctor actually came in and saw me. And he said, well, good news is your finger is not broken, but the bad news is you're bleeding a lot and you're probably going to lose that fingernail. It'll grow back eventually, but it's pretty much a lost cause. So I was like, okay, so what are my options? He was like, well, you can either have 1 stitch put in. I can put a stitch in right now, but we'll have to go through the nail, which could be quite painful. Or I could just, wrap it up, keep it elevated for the rest of the night, and eventually it'll heal itself because hasn't hit any major arteries or anything. So I was like, all right, I'll just go with the wrap it up and go home version. So gave me a Band-Aid, gave me some gauze, wrapped it up with some athletic tape, gave me a little baggie with an extra strip of tape and a couple more Band-Aids so I could redo it because it was bleeding. It was literally bleeding through the entire gauze every hour or so. So took that stuff home, and then before I left, as what sometimes happens if you've been to an emergency room, the billing guy comes in. So the billing guy comes into the emergency room that I'm being treated in, and he's like, all right, I need your insurance and stuff like that. It's like, okay, great. I work for Ford Motor Company. I'm supposed to have great health insurance. So I signed a few papers, and I had to pay a $25 copay. I was like, okay, great. Went home that night. It bled a few times, had to change the gauze, but after a few weeks, it started to heal. After about a month or so, the fingernail had grown back. The old fingernail fell off, new one grew back within a month or two. No big deal. About 3 months after the incident, I get a bill in the mail for $800 for my emergency room visit, where they took 2 x-rays, and then the doctor wrapped it up, gave me some gauze and a Band-Aid, and sent me home. $800. They didn't tell me what it was going to cost. I asked them, how much is it going to cost? And they said, well, it depends on your insurer. We won't be able to quote you a price right now because we're going to have to send it to them, and they'll send it back to us, and then we'll figure out who pays for what. $800 for that? If I had known it was going to cost $800, I never would have gone to the emergency room in the first place. I would have just sucked it up, waited till the morning, and see if it got any better. So I was pretty pissed off. Luckily, I can afford it. I have a well-paying job, and I'm very lucky in that sense. I was pretty pissed off that I wasn't able to budget for it. There was a couple things that I was saving up for that I could no longer buy because of this incident. Look, I'm happy to pay for my insurance. I just want to know how much it's going to cost, and I'd rather have that cost smoothed out. So where am I going with this? Well, the point is that there's an election coming up in just a few days here in the United States. And there's one candidate who will eliminate this problem once and for all, which is great for people like me, but even better for people who can't afford healthcare to begin with. And that candidate is Joe Biden. Now, I'm voting for Joe Biden because he has an excellent record on taking care of the economy when it's in the shitter, which it is right now. And he has a great record with helping out the auto industry, which I obviously care about. But first and foremost, he has a plan to make health insurance way less frustrating. And the top of the thing on the list for me is that Joe Biden's healthcare plan will eliminate surprise billing. No longer will you go to the emergency room because something happened, and then 3 months later get a massive bill that you didn't even know was coming. Under Joe Biden's plan, that will no longer happen. So, I'm endorsing Joe Biden. If you've already voted, great. Thank you so much. If you haven't voted yet, please go vote. At this point, unfortunately, it's too late to put your ballot in the mail, but there's lots of drop boxes everywhere. You can go online and look up where drop boxes are around you if you want to do absentee, or you can do what I'm doing, and I'm just voting here in person at my polling station. I'm just going to walk over there Tuesday morning as soon as it opens. Hopefully the line's not too long. Going to vote in person and be done with it. Make sure you pay attention to what the rules and laws are where you are before you vote, because sometimes there can be tricky things, but the most important thing is have a plan, make sure you follow it, get your friends and family to vote, and I hope that you'll join me in voting for Joe Biden so he can eliminate bullshit surprise healthcare bills. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm sorry I haven't been so active on my channel lately. There's really good reasons for it, very positive reasons, and I'll go over those in an update video at a later time. But for now, go vote, stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.